We are all witnessing some of the worst openings of climate change havoc wreaking with these global temperatures nearing 120 degrees or more across the globe. In the United States is no exception. It's time for us to understand that our government is never going to take any action that it is not forced to do. So my request to you is to make contact with your friends and neighbors and join in some kind of request, demand, or demonstration that the government take meaningful action and do it now. Here's the chart for the month of July 2021. This chart has a Cancer sun and rising with an Aries moon, calling for a new yet old human ambition, survival, underscored by Pluto in Capricorn in the house of relationships. Venus and Mars are alone in the subjective house of values. The rest are above the horizon. All goals depend upon new values as the basis for actions needed for change in the world. Mars and Venus power a grand trine with the Sagittarius South Node in the house of psychological strength, and the Moon in Aries in the house of authority, showing the power of change lies with the people of the world. People will need to take the initiative and demand government take climate change as a serious threat to the survival of life on Earth. Mars seeks to activate a higher understanding that will manifest as the will of the people. The Moon first contacts Chiron, whose wounding of our sense of omnipotence requires a response from the collective will to survive. Uranus is the linchpin in the square between the Moon and the Sun, activating the need for change. The next cycle, beginning with the new moon, will bring calls for radical changes to build a new foundation to assist in the survival of humanity. Finally, the moon will contact its north node in Gemini, which issues a raison d'être, supporting an end to all global conflicts and to power a global effort to fight climate change as an existential threat to human survival. If you know your moon and rising signs, please listen to them as well. Aries, faith in your abilities is essential now as you are face to face with your wounded ego. Your creativity is the engine that will help find your true place in life. Resolve your inner conflicts. Taurus, the way forward requires resolving personal value conflicts that have hindered your efforts to overcome the hold that the past has had on your creativity and sense of freedom. Gemini, seems like a shoulda, coulda, woulda world when you fail to unify your thoughts and face the resultant conflict, not just with others, but with your own sense of responsibility for it all. Cancer, if you have ended your mental battle about your creative abilities, it may be because you seem now to have a greater degree of control over the direction your arts will take. Leo, you are very aware of past confusion about your place or community. You can take creative control of your future direction if you work to overcome your strong fear of failure. Virgo, you may be thinking of relocating, or if that's not possible, you may wish to address a conflicted sense of responsibilities in your life. All depends on using more positive and spiritual values. Libra, being truthful is the best way to change what you feel is too anchored in the past. Improving yourself will likely be the long-term motivating factor as you plot your future direction. Scorpio, the only restraint you respect is the fear of failure. Resolve conflicted feelings about the challenges you face and take charge of your career path. Refuse to run from the truth. Sagittarius, challenges in your relationships require faith in yourself. Questioning your own validity weakens your efforts to serve the needs of others. Focus on the future and not on the past. Capricorn, you may be experiencing a purging of toxic feelings. The challenge is both emotional and mental, but the mind is the arena hosting these feelings. Have faith in your ability to grow. Aquarius, conflicted sense of responsibilities require an appropriate set of values to guide you. Injured pride brings out words of resentment that could complicate your future peace. Pisces, opportunities like this are rare, so take advantage of the chance to deepen your spiritual life. Depend on those actions that will respond to wounded feelings with love and compassion. Now, into the social and cultural dimension we go. Since July 4th, this one is the 245th anniversary of the founding of the United States, it is appropriate to refer to that. The chart I use for the USA has a Gemini rising. The first planet to rise is Uranus. So I decided to follow the 84-year cycle of Uranus throughout the development of the United States. In 1860, as Uranus returned, opposition grew about the federal government outlawing slavery in territories that were not yet states, which led in 1861 to the attack on Fort Sumter on April 12, 1861, which started the Civil War. The next time Uranus returned, in 1944, it signaled change was necessary. The dropping of an atomic bomb on Japan, August 6, 1945, effectively ended World War II. In each of these Uranus returns, the need for meaningful change was clear. The first return saw the need to end slavery, but its own citizens were leading a counter-revolution. The second Uranus return in 1944 accompanied the realization that the global power structure had to be reordered. So the United Nations was established on October 24th, 1945 in San Francisco, California. In each of these returns, real change was enacted somewhat effectively. The next Uranus return is in 2028. What changes are needed? Well, the obvious need is to cope with the threat of climate change. We must transform our relationship to the planet because climate change plays no favorites. We are fully aware of climate change as an existential threat to our existence. But will we, as a people, a nation, as a global community of nations, respond in time? I believe that 2028 may see the tipping point from which there is no return. The Civil War was resistance to outlawing slavery. Today we are witnessing resistance to the need for a radical transformation of the energy industry. Violent changes in weather patterns are already fueling migration away from areas too hot for normal agriculture, or from violent suppression of human rights by governments that lack the ability or the political will to address climate change.